Is there any character you've wanted to develop or felt very passionate about that never made it?
パッション。
そう、宮本さんが作ったキャラクターで
I mean, if the plumber made it.
まあそうプランマーが有名になったっていうキャラクターがいたとしたら、宮本さんが作ったキャラクターでもっと有名になってほしかったっていうのは
年のね、僕はまあフォックス・マクロードに有名になってほしいんですけども。
Yeah, I always wanted Fox McCloud to be a bit more popular than he is.
Shigeru Miyamoto was out of ideas. After the disappointing sales of Star Fox Zero, he was unsure of what direction to go next. Star Fox, a franchise that once led by example, was fading into obscurity.
You are witnessing a new technology.
In 1993, the original Star Fox was Nintendo's first game to display polygonal graphics.
Danger, 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 danger. Why go to the next level when you can go light years beyond? You are Fox McCloud in Star Fox, only for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
In 1997, Star Fox 64 made history as the first game to introduce Rumble.
Hook it up. I want to feel this myself.
The Rumble Pack lets you feel different degrees of vibration, like when you turbo boost or you shoot a bomb. The Rumble Pack feeds back a slight turbulent vibration. Whoa!
I actually felt it.
I told you.
I'll take this one. Get the one behind me.
If force feedback functionality wasn't enough, Star Fox 64 also added full voice acting to further immerse players directly into the action.
I guess I should be thankful. Do a barrel roll.
Fox, get this guy off me.
Who are you guys? We're Star Fox.
You'll never defeat Android!
It seemed like a safe assumption that Star Fox would always be one of Nintendo's most important IPs. But over the last decade, Star Fox has been fighting to keep a spot on the roster.
What's wrong, Fox? Nothing. Nothing's wrong.
As other Nintendo franchises evolved and tried new things, Star Fox failed to move forward. Miyamoto was unwavering on recreating the success of Star Fox 64, but wasn't taking into consideration what players actually wanted. Rather, the same Star Fox gameplay from the 1990s was recycled and repackaged while shoehorning in new hardware gimmicks. Touch, 3D, and gyroscopic controls. If Star Fox was going to have a future, it needed to finally move on from its past. When Ubisoft revealed Starlink, Battle for Atlas at E3 in 2017, many in attendance took notice of its similarities to Star Fox. journalists and fans weren't the only ones to spot the resemblance. Following Ubisoft's presentation, a handful of Nintendo representatives visited the Starlink demo room. After a tutorial from creative director Laurent Malville and producer Matt Rose, the group demoed the game. A second group came by, followed by a third, and a fourth, until finally Reggie Fils-Aimé, president of Nintendo America, made his way over to personally demo the game.
The game is fun.
Reggie was up to something. The Starlink team was flown to Nintendo headquarters to present the game to Shigeru Miyamoto and the original Star Fox team. They didn't just present Starlink. They pitched how Star Fox could be fully integrated into the game and have his own special abilities and skill tree, like the other pilots. They also pitched the R-Wing as a modular ship, just like all the other Starlink ships. The team even came prepared with a 3D printed R-Wing that they gave to Mr. Miyamoto. Nintendo saw an opening. By licensing Star Fox to Ubisoft, it could keep the franchise relevant with limited financial liability. In return, Ubisoft got a celebrity to help market their game. It was a win-win. Starlink, Battle for Atlas, was released in October 2018 for the PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Reviews were mostly positive, and the Star Fox inclusion was especially well received. Unfortunately, sales told a different story. In the UK, 82% of Starlink's launch week sales were the Nintendo Switch version, but elsewhere on the PS4 and Xbox One, Starlink struggled against Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Not only was it against hard-hitting competition, but Starlink was already facing an uphill battle. Although the game could be purchased digitally and the physical toys were not required to play, that was not well communicated, leading to confusion for potential buyers.
Game toys and accessories may be sold separately. Toys and accessories not required to play game.
Roughly 6 months after release, Ubisoft's Starlink development team shared a blog post. Despite the immense and continuous support from our players, the sales for Starlink, Battle for Atlas, fell below expectations. Consequently, we recently made the decision to not release any additional physical toys for the spring update and in the future. It was the final nail in the coffin for the Toys to Life market, and Star Fox was running out of lives. But before fans had any time to speculate about the future of the franchise, an unexpected announcement caused an old rumor to resurface.
Hi, Nintendo fans. Reggie here. By now, you may have heard the news. Yep, I'm retiring.
Reggie's 16th year with Nintendo would be his last. It was the end of an era. He was a leader, a showman, a meme.
My body is ready.
And for a lot of fans, an industry icon as symbolic as Nintendo's characters. He provided a candid glimpse inside Nintendo and offered transparency that his predecessors rarely had, although it sometimes came back to bite him.
Come on, Reggie, give us Mother 3! How about this instead?
Much to his chagrin, Reggie became the go-to source for hints about future games, which, for better or worse, he occasionally entertained. Sometimes inadvertently.
What's your pin there? What's the... I'm always being asked what are my favorite games. Certainly Zelda's a huge franchise for me. Metroid's the other favorite franchise, so I got a little Metroid pin, also in respect for the team that brought the Metroid Prime series.
Ever see any more Metroid in the future?
Who's to say whether we're going to see more? You're always looking for more news, Jeff. You're never satisfied.
The fans, I think, online are probably looking for a little more as well, Reggie.
He's revealed like 20 things in the last 2 minutes.
Reggie, I would love to see another Metroid game.
But it wouldn't be goodbye without one final tease.
We've got one more thing.
Reggie posted a series of photos to his Twitter page, showcasing gifts celebrating his career with Nintendo, including custom art from Retro Studios featuring Reggie and all the Nintendo characters Retro has worked on over the years. But there was something else. Some eagle-eyed fans noticed a mysterious hand peeking out from behind a Mario statue. Some suggested the hand belonged to Rob64, the robotic operator of the Star Fox team's mothership, the Great Fox. A theory that gained traction, as many recalled a leak that suggested Retro Studios was working on their own Star Fox game, a Star Fox racing game.
Since he's never invited, is Fox McCloud doing his own Mario Kart? Eurogamer has heard that Retro Studios, the dev behind the Metroid Prime trilogy and the new Donkey Kong Country games, is working on a Star Fox spin-off racing game. And we here at IGN are aware of similar rumblings. Rumored to be called Star Fox Grand Prix, the game would have a hub world like in Diddy Kong Racing and even feature boss battles. This definitely sounds even crazier than Rage getting a sequel, so keep in mind this apparently originated on a Reddit and nothing is confirmed. But if it does turn out to be accurate, it'll be super intriguing to see if Retro can do to Star Fox what it's done to Metroid and Donkey Kong, that is, revive the franchise.
But the announcement for Star Fox Grand Prix never came. Or did it?
We're picking up a distress call in the Atlas star system.
In Nintendo's February 2019 Direct, a free update for Starlink called Crimson Moon was revealed, showcasing new Star Fox missions, playable characters, and racing?
The Outlaw Game.
Was this Star Fox Grand Prix? Did leakers and journalists get tricked by an early look at Starlink's update and confuse it for a new game? Or was Star Fox Grand Prix actually a game that was in development at Retro Studios? That remains unclear. Retro hasn't developed a new game since 2014 and has been infamous for canceled projects over the years. And now that Nintendo has tasked them with taking over development of Metroid Prime 4, whatever they were working on has likely been canceled. There was also another theory.
If you hear people talking about Star Fox Grand Prix, they're full of it. That's not real. It was actually a leak bait trap in order to be able to catch employees that were leaking things internally from Nintendo of America. It's not real.
Some industry insiders disagreed, claiming there was more to the story, while others were a bit more open-minded. Of course, nothing about Star Fox Grand Prix, or whatever it was or wasn't, has been confirmed by Nintendo, and that might never change. So, if not Star Fox Grand Prix, then what? Will Star Fox return? Who will develop it? And what type of game will it be? Nintendo will always need new and interesting games to stay competitive. And with the historic success of the Switch and the overwhelmingly positive effect it's having on Nintendo's IPs, it's only a matter of time before it starts to move down the list. Although Starlink didn't light the world on fire, it did show there's still plenty of excitement for the Star Fox brand.
That's
Oh my god! What the freaking heck? What the heck? What the heck? Why is he in this? What is happening?
And it also demonstrated the possibilities for a new generation of Star Fox that wasn't just Star Fox 64 with a new coat of paint. Whether or not Nintendo decides to give Ubisoft another at-bat, Starlink was a step in the right direction. Sure, it had flaws, namely the toys to life element, but perhaps its greatest flaw was that it wasn't actually a Star Fox game. Hopefully, it won't be too long until there is one.
So, you heading back to Corneria now?
Eventually. But let's be honest here. You guys need all the help you can get.
Yeah.
Star Fox, move out!
I'll do my best.